Madam Speaker, as far as the economic overview is concerned, this year Fiji's projected revenue stands at $4.23 billion with $4.65 billion in expenditure. That means we brought our national deficit down by a full percentage point from last year to 3.5% this year. In other words, last year it was 4.5%, it's now going to be 3.5%, as we had undertaken in last year's budget announcement, Madam Speaker. What's really impressive, Madam Speaker, is that we've accomplished that despite being battered by three successive cyclones and torrential flooding, despite quickly and generously helping Fijians get back on their feet after the storms, and despite pouring resources into adapting our nation to climate impacts. We kept the economy on course, meeting and exceeding our national goals through our prudent stewardship of the Fijian economy. Through our economic growth and by virtue of our inclusive approach to governance, we brought together financial institutions, banks, insurance companies, telecommunications companies. We found common ground, and we've been the glue that have bonded these institutions in new partnerships for the betterment of nation and our citizens' well-being. Madam Speaker, despite the recent rounds of cyclones, as we stand here today, as Fiji sits on the cusp of an unprecedented 9 straight years of economic growth, we have achieved a growth rate of 3.2% this year. Our unemployment stands at a 20-year low, and our foreign reserves, sitting at about $2.2 billion, are marking all-time highs. Investor confidence is booming. All around the world, investors are looking at Fiji as a stable, business-friendly climate, ripe with opportunity. These are the facts, Madam Speaker. These are the hard numbers endorsed by international financial institutions and credit agencies who regularly survey and assess our economy. Some may not like these facts, Madam Speaker, because they don't bode well for their own political future. But when ordinary Fijian families take a good, long look at the facts, they'll see that our management of the economy is sound and effective. And again, it's clear that this budget is a responsible budget for Fiji. We'll put our financial strength in more relatable terms for those sitting at home who aren't economists, or maybe even some who are based on the economic literacy that we've seen, or illiteracy I should say, that we've seen from the other side. The truth of the matter, Madam Speaker, is that, again, Fiji is running an operating budget surplus. Let me repeat. The truth of the matter is, Madam Speaker, that Fiji is running an operating budget surplus. We take in more money than we spend on the day-to-day running of the country. The only dollar, you cannot understand economics, that's the problem. The only dollar, Madam Speaker, that our government borrows is the dollar invested in the Fijian people. In other words, for capital expenditure. One of our most telling economic accomplishments, Madam Speaker, is our debt-to-GDP ratio, which has hit a rate of 45.6% last year, the lowest level in 15 years. It means that government is able to borrow the funding that it needs to invest into the betterment of our people, because lenders are fully confident of our ability to repay, and they see the strength in our economy. Don't listen to your leader. Suggestions, Madam Speaker, the one outside Parliament. Suggestions, Madam Speaker, that Fiji is experiencing some kind of Chinese or Japanese takeover because of government's investment in Fijian families only goes to show that the person speaking, or more commonly these days, anonymously typing behind a keyboard, is either ignorant or a liar, or even both, Madam Speaker. All too often, Madam Speaker, the answer is both, as we've seen from past governments' gross mishandling of the Fijian economy and their attempts to manipulate the facts. Back in 1996, Madam Speaker, the government of the day took out a huge amount of debt. That debt was not spent on Fiji's families or infrastructure, but debt was squandered to bail out deposits from the National Bank of Fiji. And the person who was the Prime Minister then is also the leader of SODELPA now. Debt, Madam Speaker, that the economic novices at the helm had no plan to repay. Today, when you consider the difference in dollar value, interest and opportunity cost of the debt, the number balloons to $500 million. Let that sink in, Madam Speaker. $500 million of Fijian progress lost down the drain, at no benefit to the Fijian people. With that money now, Madam Speaker, anything we currently owe to China could be wiped clean. Just think of what that money could have done for Fiji if it had been managed by someone, say, capable of managing a political party, let alone the entire nation's economy. Madam Speaker, now many of these same voices are trying to tell us about our strong lies about our strong economy. An economy they themselves never had the vision, the know-how, the political will, or the ambition to deliver for Fiji. And Madam Speaker, that's deeply concerning. Because as His Excellency, our President, has said, the Fijian economy is something we must all protect. Our economy is the basis for the well-being of Fijian families. And no one should be telling lies about our economy for their own short-term political gain. Because our economy, the future of our nation, the future of our families and the future of our children is never fair game. You've heard them say it's fair game. It's not. We must speak the truth, Madam Speaker. And the truth is, the only reason that Fiji has the ability to invest so heavily in the Fijian people and to invest in building an economy to last is because the world trusts us to make good on our financial obligations. Governments of the past tanked our economy, they racked up bills they never intended to pay, irresponsibly leaving a tab of intergenerational debt to be settled at the expense of our nation. The very fact that Fiji today has recovered from this and can invest in our people at all, especially after being burdened by the debts of those before us, speaks to the strength of our economic management. It speaks to the principled nature of our leadership. Madam Speaker, the truth is that we are announcing this budget from a position of considerable financial strength. It would have been easy for us to stand here and play Father Christmas, handing out freebies, announcing gimmicks, giving away money without any care or consideration, announcing $5, $10 an hour, because we're in a very strong financial position. We could have done that, Madam Speaker, but we haven't. We've never done that, because we're not interested in gimmicks. We don't make policy based on what's easy, on what an election may be. We're interested in the prosperity of the nation and of Fijian families over the long term, Madam Speaker. We're interested in making thoughtful investments in our people and in Fijian society, to bring opportunity to our people, to empower people, and give them the confidence to pursue initiative and enterprise. We're interested in building the Fiji of tomorrow, today, specifically this evening through this national budget, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this